missiles. It's up to the US to decide. But if the United States decides to provide Tomahawk missiles, we will definitely support that. Thank you.
So, good morning, good to see you all. And today will be an important meeting with the defense ministers. We had an extremely successful summit in The Hague. We agreed, as you know, to ramp up defense spending to 5%, including 3.5 on core defense and 1.5 on all the important defense-related issues. It was a summit where we also discussed the defense industrial production, to ramp that up and to make sure that Ukraine is as strong as possible, staying in the fight. And today we will touch on all those issues and, of course, on what happened just recently, the drones, how to make sure that we can do even more to protect NATO against also these new developments. So this will be an important day. We will have Ukraine during the day in the lunch. We have a NATO-Ukraine Council where Dennis Shmihal, the defense minister, will be participating, and also Kaja Kallas, the EU High Representative. And then we will have later today, after I've seen you in the press conference, I look forward to that, of course, we will have a Ukraine Defense Contact Group where we will discuss ramping up the support for Ukraine even further under the leadership of the two defense ministers of Germany and the United Kingdom, Boris Pistorius and John Healey. And one of the issues we were discussing is this new program, which we launched only in August, the program where the United States is again delivering essential, lethal and non-lethal military support to Ukraine, paid for by allies, already 2 billion committed. And I have every reason to assume today that many other countries will sign up. This is crucial stuff, including air defense systems and particularly interceptors, important for Ukraine to make sure that their civilian population, their crucial infrastructure is as much protected as possible against the continuous Russian onslaught. So with that, happy to answer a few questions. And then again, we'll see each other later today in a press conference.
Drone wall helpful, or is it doubling up on NATO's efforts?
I can assure you that the EU and NATO are really working very well together. There is no doubling at all. Ursula von der Leyen, the President of the European Commission, myself, the relevant commissioners, including Kubilius and of course Kaja Kallas and the others, we are all making sure that we make use of the strengths of the two organizations. And NATO is good at the hard stuff, which is the standard setting, the capabilities, the military side. And the EU has the enormous soft power of the internal market, the enormous soft power of making sure the money is there, making sure that the nations in the EU are aligned. And this combination is crucial to work together. It's one of the things the Russians try to divide. They are not successful. We are working very well together.
Mr. Rutte, talking about... What makes you so confident that there are going to be big announcements on the Pearl Initiative from the Europeans today? So far, there hasn't been a lot of movement.
Oh, there has been a lot. We have seen immediately when we launched the program, seen the Germans and the Dutch and the Canadians and the Swedes and the Danes and the Norwegians stepping up. But I assure you, but maybe I can tell you a little bit more during the press, that today other countries will come forward. I'm really positive. Of course, part of my task as Secretary General, and this has been the case for my predecessor, for me, is to make sure we keep the support for Ukraine as strong as possible. And I'm really proud that as a collective alliance, we are able to do that, to make sure that Ukraine stays in the fight as strong as possible.
Do you believe now is the time that Ukraine will receive longer-range offensive missiles?
Well, this is not an issue to be discussed today because that is a bilateral question. So what nations, yes or no, want to supply to Ukraine. But that's not on the table today.
General Balkans. What about Serbia's President Vučić about the declaration that it will have a war? He declared that nowadays, and Kosovo's institutions condemn that.
We follow all the events closely in the Western Balkans. Maybe it might also come up as an issue generally, but I'm not sure that it will be so specific as in your question.
From Ukraine. Did you change red lines regarding Russia after drones in European sky?
Well, there have been many questions about whether NATO is capable or not to make sure that if something happens in our airspace, we can act decisively if necessary, and we can. I can really assure you. The problem is this, that some are saying, not inside NATO, but sometimes in the public debate, that if a plane, a Russian plane, be it intentional or not, enters NATO airspace, that anyway you have to take it down. And I don't agree. I think you have to make sure that you are absolutely convinced whether yes or no it is posing a threat. If it is posing a threat, we can do everything needed to make sure the threat will not materialize. But if it is not posing a threat, a strong alliance, and NATO is so much stronger than Russia, we are infinitely more capable, then of course our role is to make sure that that plane drifted outside of its airspace into NATO airspace will gently be guided outside our airspace and then make clear to the Russians, stop doing this. It was a question from Ukraine, yes.
Secretary General, is there a need to make any NATO-level decision on shooting down the drones or whatever interferes with the airspace, or can any individual member state like Poland do it on their own without looking for any sort of permission from NATO? Thank you.
Let me, through you, and this is a Ukrainian question, but let me use your question to tell the Russians that if they intentionally would try anything against NATO, we have everything in place and all the authorities to make sure we can defend every inch of NATO airspace and NATO territory. When it comes to the drones, obviously learning from you, from Ukraine, we are making sure that we will implement as soon as possible the latest technologies. This is not new, you always have to adapt. But when you look at what happened in Poland and in Estonia, I think we acted exactly as you expect us to react, which is when it comes to the drones, to make sure that drones posing a threat were shot down, and when it comes to the MiG-31 into Estonian airspace, to assess whether they were a threat. They were not, so they were guided outside airspace by Italian F-35s, and this is exactly how we trained and prepared. And hey guys, this is not new. We do this now for 60, 70 years. We did it with the Soviets, with the Russians. So some of this debate I'm seeing in the public sphere about does NATO have the authorities? Yes, we have. And obviously you every day have to make sure you adapt to the latest technologies. Final question, and then I'll see you this afternoon. Sir.
Allied military support has dropped.
I was thinking of the guy behind you, but you can also ask a question.
Okay, thank you. Allied military support has dropped considerably in the course of the summer. How do you explain, and are you concerned?
It has not. When you look at this year, it is more or less on average with last year, all the essential stuff going. And I'm proud of this, because we thought, the Russians thought probably when they started this war, first they thought they would win it in 3 weeks. Now we are in year 4. They have lost 1 million people, dead or seriously wounded. Only gained this year very incremental successes, very small size of Ukrainian territory. Again, 1 million people lost or seriously wounded, and the support for Ukraine last year, this year continues to flow, lethal and non-lethal. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later today.
From Romania, I'm here today together with the other colleagues, other allies, to discuss about how we can move better, faster, especially on the eastern flank. We see the provocations in the last weeks, last months, and we understood that we have to move faster, better, quicker. And we support the initiative and the fast response from the Secretary General and the SACEUR when they announced the Eastern Sentry, and that means more capabilities, better air defense for the eastern flank. We have to show to our societies that they are protected, and we are doing that. We are updating the legislation. We have updated the legislation concerning the air defense interventions across the whole year, and now we can take down everything that flies without authorization on our airspace. We are also having the Parliament, we've sent to the Parliament a new law for voluntary conscription. We have a new law for defense. In November, the President will present to the Parliament a new strategy for defense of Romania. We are working on this together. We are in this together. And first thing first, let's not forget, we are not in the war, and Ukraine is in the war. Ukraine is #1 priority for us. We have to support them. We have supported them from day one. We'll continue to do that. We are working together. They have to win this war. And then, sorry for it's a little bit. I have a small problem with the voice. And then after the peace process will start, because eventually this will start, we have to continue to be stronger and better, especially on the eastern flank, especially in the Black Sea, because the Black Sea will remain a sea of challenges, and we all together as allies, we have to protect that Black Sea, the Black Sea has to be a sea of peace. We are there, we are working together, and I can't wait to discuss with my colleagues. Thank you very much.
Minister, which concrete
Do you feel supported by the NATO allies?
Can you repeat the
As a
question?
country on NATO's eastern flank, do you feel supported by the other allies?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, we are supported. We have allied troops, and this is reassuring for our society. We have around 5,000 soldiers, especially from USA, from France, and from Portugal, from Spain, from Poland, and that again is from Belgium. Is reassuring, and we thank them for that. We have equipments, but we need more. We need to show again to our societies that they are protected. We have air policing from Germany on our soil, and thank them for that. We've sent our troops. We have our troops in Poland. We've sent our troops on our planes in Lithuania. We'll send them again next year. This is NATO. This is how we work together. This is how we defend together our nations. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Americans are expecting more engagement from the Europeans on the Pearl Initiative. What is the concrete contribution that Romania?
We'll have the discussion, and I will let the Secretary General to debrief after the meeting. Thank you very much.
Arms rested. Good. Good morning. I try to be quick. Of course, we have many topics to discuss. First and foremost, I would like to start with the airspace violation, what you all know, what occurred on 19th of September. And after that, we initiated the consultations of Article 4. As we see, Russia was intentional with that, or at least we see that they didn't obey to orders of the our air controllers and also the fighter jets from Italy. So regarding that incident, I would like to thank actually our Italian counterparts. They did a very good job, and we saw that we can react if necessary. But if someone is in NATO's airspace for 12 minutes, that shows that this is a really long time, and we needed to react. So of course that shows also the importance of the air patrolling mission, what we have in the Baltic states. And of course we need to see now how we can move on with the Eastern Sentry, what we can do additionally, what are the protocols, what are the procedures. So this is very important for us. Secondly, regarding Ukraine, unfortunately we see some decrease of the military assistance. So this is why we decided additionally to that what we have already done, that we are sending also this week a lot of drones worth of tens of millions. We decided to join the Baltic Nordic pool package. So we know that 4 packages have been agreed already. So the next package will be Nordic Baltic, and we are very close to have the package fully committed. So this is a good news. Our contribution will be $12 million US. And of course, we have to see what we can do additionally for Ukraine. And Ukrainian Minister of Defense has a birthday today also. I believe that we should give some good birthday presents also to Ukrainian Minister of Defense. So when you have questions, I have many colleagues waiting. Yes.
Do you have any training with Ukrainians with drone interceptors?
With drone interceptors, I was a couple of weeks ago in Ukraine, and I visited also some factories. And we have a very good cooperation regarding our own capabilities. Some companies are producing already today drone interceptors. We have producing already today drone interceptors. We have a long test day next week when we will see how effective they are, because even today, as Ukraine has been in this fight for more than 3 years, they still cannot see and catch around 20-25% of the drones. So of course the industry has to help us here how to intercept those drones. And we know also that the Garand 3 type of drones, which are using also the jet engines, are on the battlefield already today. So the industry has to work here very intensively, because I believe that all of the countries have the financing for that.
The Americans are expecting more contributions from the Europeans on the Pearl Initiative. What do you expect from the southern European countries today?
I expect all of the European countries will announce some good news because, as I said, 4 packages, each worth of around $500 million, have been agreed. Nordic-Baltic Initiative, Nordic-Baltic package will be hopefully done very soon, maybe even today, let's see. But the reality is that the share of the US contributions to Ukraine has decreased significantly this year. So it's not only for us, it's all for all the allies to help Ukraine to win this war.
How do you assess the overall security of the eastern flank? Secretary General was just here and said very confidently that 1 aircraft could be escorted out and that would be enough. How do you see this?
Well, we believe in NATO, and we believe that the Baltic Air Patrolling mission has proven itself very well. So, of course, for us, it is important to keep the air patrolling missions, to strengthen also the Eastern Centre Initiative, and to see what we can do additionally. But it's not only the aircrafts; it's also the drones and many other, let's say, hybrid warfare. Tools what Russia is using, so this is why we have to be very vigilant and very careful here. So last question, please.
Comment on the closure of the road to the Satsé boot and explain what was seen there.
Well, it's not a news that Russia is using its own territory for different activities. So yes, this time they came very close to the Estonian border. They stepped out from the woods to the road. And yes, the reality is that there is a short part of Estonian territory which is, let's say, with the boot entered from Russian side. So we had to do that, and at the moment we are building the new road to exclude that kind of incidents. But the reality is that Russia is using its territory. They are provoking also with the show-off that they are coming to the border. So we need to be pragmatic, but on the same time be very clear here that we will not allow any intrusions to our territory. So when they are on their side, it's their right.
Who were those Russians just across the border?
Well, you have to ask from the Russians. Will they ever answer to that, to you or someone else? No, they don't. So they said to us that, well, we didn't have anything extraordinary there. We just, did what we always do. But we know that it was nothing like that. So, communicating with Russia means that you can never expect that they will tell the truth. They will just tell what they want to say. It was the same also with MiGs. So they said that they were not in our airspace. So they were. So that's the reality. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, everyone. We are having important discussions ahead of us today at the NATO ministerial meeting, at the Ukraine support group, and also at the EU ministerial meeting. At the NATO ministerial meeting, the most important issue is the making stronger the NATO's defense and deterrence, of course. We are seeing that Russia is a truly long-term military threat towards alliance, and they are testing all the time Finland also. We have to speed up the implementation of the capability targets and of course the spending targets also. And the main responsibility is in the national governments. And that's why we are also emphasizing that the national governments and parliaments have to take now the concrete decisions to invest to the national defense capabilities. Through the national capabilities comes to stronger NATO, and that way we can decrease the threat what Russia is posing, of course, to the alliance. Finland is taking really seriously this urgency of the strengthening defense. Among other things, we are purchasing 64 F-35 fighter jets. We are buying new Navy's warships. We are also starting a new significant land forces reform. We are also reforming our conscript system so that we are raising the total reserve of our defense forces to over 1 million reservists. So we hope that all the countries are doing a lot now, and there has to be a sense of urgency at this moment. And this meeting is a good way to see the kind of the results and progress what each member states are now having. And the other main topic is the Ukraine support. Of course, we are seeing that Russia is now consuming at a rapid pace their resources and coming more and more dependent on China and other allies. That's at the same time that's a sign of a strong will, but a sign of a weaker military and weaker economy. So at this point, it's crucial that the Western countries are increasing the support for Ukraine and also increasing the sanctions for Russian economy. That's the only way to achieve peace if we really want it. So, and from the Finnish point of view, we are constantly working hard to help Ukraine in political level, military level, and economical level also. This week we are giving a new support package for Ukraine, and we have also decided to join to the Pearl initiative because we see that it's crucial that the Ukraine gets the critical US weapons, and they have said that Europeans must pay the war, what is going on in our continent, and that's why Europeans have to find the money also for that. Thank you.
How do you expect your Southern European counterparts to find the money to both support the Pearl Initiative and also speed up their military spending?
Of course, we are emphasizing the solidarity that everyone in Europe has to take a fair share of the burden what comes from the Ukraine support. The US part and of course the European part. And now everyone has to find the money because this is a crucial moment. And the message is clear from the United States that the United States is providing these arms, but Europeans have to pay the Ukraine support overall sums.
Should the US provide tomahawks to Ukraine, and what difference would they make?
Well, that decision comes from the White House, but how we see it, that the long-range weapons are critical for Ukraine, and they will have a clear impact to the warfare if they will have them.
Some critics say there is too many national rules on the eastern flank, and that, for example, one aircraft or one drone cannot be shot because of the rules. Do you think NATO should have more powers to act fast?
Well, Finland has at this point quite a good readiness and preparedness in our national air defense and air surveillance system, and we have enough authorities also to operate in all circumstances, also use force if it's necessary. Now we are integrating our systems to NATO, and we see that there's a little bit work ahead of us in legislation and bureaucracy, but that work is in a right track going on in Sakharov's table.
Russian presence near Finland borders, military presence?
Yes, we are seeing in different facilities what they are now building up. So we are taking this with cool head because it's an old plan, but now we know that Russia is really doing their military build-up for the second phase of their potential aggression. And what I mean this is that they are real threats for NATO after the Ukrainian war. So they are really doing the military modernization and new build-up. And the signs have been seen also nearby our borders.
Is Finland going to do a practice evacuation as some of the Baltic states have announced that they will do?
Could you repeat?
Some of the Baltic states recently announced that they were going to practice a civilian evacuation in the event of hostilities from Russia. Is Finland, which also has a very strong civil defense culture, going to do something similar?
Well, that's kind of a traditional way to in Finland that we are always prepared and we have exercises so that we are not now kind of declaring any new kind of preparations or exercises at this point.
Would you consider something on a population level?
Well, we don't have this kind of planning ongoing now.
British media over here.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Hi.
which are dedicated.
That Sweden thinks is absolutely necessary right now. First, invest into our own counter-drone and air defense capabilities. Sweden made an announcement just last week that we're investing 350 million euros in increased counter-drone capabilities. We were able to support our Danish friends during the meeting in Copenhagen, investing into capabilities. Number two is to make sure that NATO has a strong ability to deter and defend. We strongly welcome Eastern Century. Sweden stands ready to contribute to Eastern Century as well. The third point, also strengthening SACEUR's mandate to move around assets and capability within allied territory. This is very important. Also assuring that we have the right rules of engagement for SACEUR, also to be operating and controlling aircrafts on allied territory. So there's a few things that we're going to be mentioning today, and of course Sweden is very committed to Ukraine support. We welcome the Pearl Initiative, and we stand ready also to contribute, make new contributions to Pearl. I'll be glad to take any questions you might have.
Are the rules of engagement clear to you, Minister?
Sorry?
Are the rules of engagement clear to you, Minister? And should NATO's regulations between the allies be harmonised?
Swedish rules of engagement is crystal clear since 1983. We have if someone makes an incursion into the Swedish airspace, we will defend Swedish territory. And it's a mandate of the pilot or the commander of the surface vessels who makes the call. And that's good, and we would like that model also to be inspire others to do that, having a strong and clear rules of engagement. I think there's room for improvement within the alliance, and I know also Sakharov is working very closely on that one.
Can you be more specific on Sweden's contribution on Pearl today, and also what do you expect from your Spanish and Italian counterparts in terms of engagement in Pearl?
Two things. Sweden stands ready to do more. We did, of course, the second package together with Norway and Denmark. Then Sweden contributed 250 million euros on that. And then we stand ready also to do further packages. I know there's an ongoing dialogue right now among others, among the Nordic-Baltic countries. The other one is burden sharing, and this is critical now because we've been seeing the wrong trajectory when it comes to support to Ukraine that is been going down. We want to see more stepping up to enhance and increase the financial support and military donations to Ukraine.
Will Sweden send Gripen to Ukraine?
We don't exclude that possibility, but of course, as you might know, we were advised by the Air Force Coalition to wait with such measures and then instead focusing on our airborne early sensors. And that's something that we are providing to the Ukrainians, which will provide a capability for the Ukrainians to do command and control of the F-16, but I don't exclude the possibilities for Gripen in the future. And we are in a dialogue with the Ukrainian part because I know that they have, of course, have a strong interest into the Gripen system.
So you were told to wait in order to send those sensors first?
Exactly, and I think there would be a challenge if you do 3 fighter aircraft systems at the same time. Of course, with F-16 and with the Mirage. Now, of course, we're seeing progress being done there, and it's do strengthen Ukraine's air defense systems. And I know there's an interest on the Ukrainian side on Gripen Echo, for example, the new version, and we would welcome, of course, that as well. And we are in a dialogue with the Ukrainian side on that one. Last question, if anyone. No? Then I go to the Swedish one. All right, thank you.
υπάρχει σήμερα στη Σύνοδο
So, good morning. I really want to welcome Pete Hegseth here to NATO again, to the Defense Ministers meeting. This will be an important meeting because we had a successful summit in The Hague. And there is now much more cash on the table. There is firepower coming out of our defense industry, which is so important. And we are doing everything collectively to keep Ukraine strong. But I particularly want to thank President Trump and you personally for your leadership and the whole team for the fact that NATO is now much stronger, more lethal, but it is also fairer. Because we know that since President Eisenhower there was this constant irritant that yes, NATO was there, the US was committed, but also had a clear expectation that EU allies and Canada would step up. And we took that historic decision in The Hague, thanks to your leadership, equalizing defense spending on this side of the pond and in Canada with what the US is spending. And I think that's extremely important. And I also want to thank President Trump and you personally again, and of course the whole American leadership team for the fact that when it comes to Ukraine, you decided to again make sure that they have what they need from the US, paid for by allies, and that program is now running. 2 billion committed so far, and today I expect many new announcements of countries who will participate. So, all in all, we are making great progress. Again, thank you so much, Pete, for everything you are doing. Mark.
It's great to see you. Great to see you. Absolutely. Great to be here. And Mark mentioned it, firepower. That's what is coming, we expect and is coming from NATO. And it was a historic summit just a couple of months ago, brought about by leadership of President Trump to say we need our allies to step up. And they did, and they have in those commitments. Now those commitments will soon translate into capabilities, which is the most important aspect of it. And one part of that, of course, is Pearl, is the initiative where European countries buy U.S. weapons, transfer to NATO for the fight in Ukraine to bring peace to that conflict. And if there's anything we've learned under President Trump, is the active application of peace through strength. Yes. You get peace when you are strong, not when you use strong words or wag your finger. You get it when you have strong and real capabilities that adversaries respect. And I believe that's what NATO is doing. I believe that's what the Pearl Initiative is. So our expectation today is that more countries donate even more, that they purchase even more to provide for Ukraine to bring that conflict to a peaceful conclusion. I would also note a historic moment as well for a lot of things to happen, given what the president's been able to do in Gaza and throughout the Middle East. I think the world is seeing that we have a peace president who seeks that peace through standing by those that stand with the United States and stand for peace, which is what we saw there, and I hope we can see in Ukraine. So that's the focus of our efforts. We're going to be strong to bring that about, and thanks for having us.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. See you later today at the pressers.